You are standing where your house used to be. Not near it, not beside it, exactly where it once stood. Mud sucks at your ankles as if the earth itself is trying to pull you down, trying to remind you that nothing here is solid anymore. The air smells wrong. Stagnant water, rotting rice stalks, something sour that clings to the back of your throat. Morning light breaks through torn clouds, pale and uncertain, as if the sun itself isn't sure it's welcome after what it allowed to happen. In front of you, a dog stands perfectly still. He is taller than most village dogs, broad-chested, his fur a soaked blend of brown and black, matted with drying silt. A German shepherd, out of place here, among bamboo huts and palm trees, among people who have never owned anything that looked like him. He doesn't look at you, he stares at the ground, not randomly, not restlessly, intently, as if something beneath the mud is calling only to him. Behind you, the village is waking. Metal clanks, someone coughs, a child cries, thin and hoarse. The sound floats over the wreckage and lands somewhere inside your chest, where it stays, heavy and unmoving. You tighten your grip around the end of your sari, twisting the wet fabric until your knuckles ache. 2 months ago, you stood in this same spot and watched steam rise from rice on the stove. You scolded your daughter for running barefoot. You complained about the heat. Everything was fine then. The cyclone came at night. You remember the sound first, not wind, but a scream, long and furious, ripping through the dark as if the sky itself had split open. Tin roofs flew like paper, trees bent until they broke. Water rushed in faster than thought, faster than prayer. You grabbed your daughter, you ran, and somewhere in that chaos, the dog appeared. You don't know where he came from. You only remember a solid weight slamming into your legs as you stumbled, a body bracing against yours, pushing instead of pulling you down. You remember hands shouting. You remember water at your chest, your neck, your mouth, and you remember eyes, alert, steady, refusing panic. Now those same eyes are fixed on the earth, ears angled forward, tail low but unmoving. "Why are you doing that?" you whisper, though you don't expect an answer. The dog doesn't move. You step closer. The mud shifts, releasing a faint sound beneath your foot. A hollow glup. You freeze! The dog's head snaps toward you. Just for a second. Then his gaze drops again. The wind stirs, carrying the distant call to prayer from a half-standing mosque at the edge of the village. The sound wavers, distorted, as if even faith is struggling to find its footing. You swallow! Your mouth is dry despite the water everywhere. Clean water is harder to find than shelter now. The wells are poisoned with floodwater. Every sip is boiled, rationed, argued over. The dog suddenly paws at the ground. Once, twice, mud splashes up his legs. He digs again, harder now, breath puffing from his chest in short bursts. "Hey," you say, sharper than you mean to. "Stop!" Your voice cracks. You didn't know it was still that fragile. He ignores you. The sound changes as he digs, less suction, more echo. A dull thud, like earth giving way to something that isn't earth at all. A memory stirs, not clear, just a fragment. Your grandmother's voice, years ago, telling stories in the evening while the lamps flickered. Stories about the village before roads, before pumps, before the river changed its mind. You shake your head, forcing the thought away. Now is not the time for stories. The dog freezes again. His nose hovers inches above the hole. He sniffs deeply. Then he steps back and looks at you. Really looks at you. His eyes are not wild, not afraid. There is something else there, expectation almost, as if he has done his part and now it's your turn. Your heart begins to thud, slow and heavy, each beat landing harder than the last. You kneel. The mud is cold against your knees. You push your hands into the hole. He started, fingers sinking, sliding, searching. The smell changes, less rot, more clean. Your fingertips brush something smooth, stone. Before you can pull your hand back, water seeps up around your wrist, clearer than the floodwater, cooler. You gasp, jerking your hand free as the hole fills faster now, water bubbling up from below with quiet insistence. "No," you whisper, "that's not possible." The dog lets out a single low sound, not a bark, not a growl, something in between. Behind you, footsteps stop. Someone says your name. Another voice joins, then another. You don't turn around. You can't, because the water keeps coming. Not rushing, not violent, steady. Alive, you stare at the small pool forming in the ruins of your home, sunlight catching on its surface, turning it briefly into something that looks like hope. The dog sits beside you, mud-streaked and silent, watching the water rise as if he has been waiting for this moment longer than you have been alive. You don't understand what you're seeing! But deep down, beneath the grief and the exhaustion and the endless counting of what was lost, something shifts. Not relief. Not yet. Something else. A question that refuses to stay buried. You don't notice the people gathering at first. Your attention is trapped by the water. By the way, it keeps pushing up from the ground, patient and unstoppable, as if it has all the time in the world and no intention of stopping just because you don't understand it yet. Someone touches your shoulder. Light. Careful, you flinch anyway. What is that? A man asks behind you. His voice is low, cautious, like he's afraid the answer might disappear if he says it too loudly. You finally turn. Faces blur together. Neighbors, relatives, people who once borrowed salt from you, now standing ankle-deep in the remains of your life. Their eyes are fixed on the small, growing pool at your knees. I don't know, you say. Your voice doesn't sound like it belongs to you. The dog stands, stepping closer to the water. He lowers his head and drinks. A collective inhale ripples through the crowd. Stop him! Someone shouts. You reach out instinctively, fingers brushing the thick fur at his neck, but he's already swallowing calmly, deliberately. He lifts his head. Waits. Nothing happens. No coughing, no retching, no sudden collapse. Just a dog licking water from his lips, tail giving a slow, uncertain wag. The silence stretches. Then a woman kneels beside you. She dips her fingers into the pool, rubs the water between them, brings them to her lips, hesitates, looks at you, searching your face for permission you don't know how to give. She tastes it. Her eyes widen. It's sweet, she whispers. That word spreads faster than panic ever did. Sweet, clean, alive. People push closer, crouching, cupping their hands, murmuring prayers under their breath before drinking. Someone laughs, a sharp, broken sound that turns into crying halfway through. You sit back on your heels, dizzy. The ground beneath you feels unsteady, as if the village has tilted slightly and forgotten to settle back into place. The dog presses his side against your leg. Solid, warm, real. You rest your hand on his head without thinking. He doesn't pull away. By afternoon, the elders arrive. They circle the spot, arguing softly, pointing, recalling half-forgotten stories. One of them squints at the dog, then at the water, then at you. My grandfather spoke of something like this, he says finally. A spring, buried when the river flooded generations ago. Generations. The word makes your chest ache. All those years of thirst, of walking miles for water, of pumps breaking and wells turning bitter while this waited beneath your home. You don't know how to feel about that. They rope off the area. Someone brings bamboo poles. Someone else brings a shovel. The dog watches every movement, ears twitching, as if memorizing each sound. When a man digs too close to the edge, the dog steps between him and the hole, letting out a warning bark that snaps through the humid air. People hesitate, then listen. That night, you don't sleep. You sit under a plastic sheet strung between two trees, your daughter curled against your side, her breathing shallow but steady. The dog lies at your feet, head resting on his paws, eyes open. Always open. Rain threatens but doesn't fall. The frogs are loud, the insects louder. Somewhere in the dark, water continues to rise from the earth, quiet and persistent. You think about the morning before the cyclone, about sweeping your yard, about scolding your daughter for spilling water, about how ordinary everything felt. You press your palm into the dog's fur. It's rough with dried mud, warm beneath your fingers. Why did you come here, you murmur. He doesn't answer. He just shifts closer, his back firm against your shin, anchoring you to the present. Over the next days, the village changes shape. People rebuild around the spring, not over it. Paths bend, plans are rewritten, arguments flare, then cool. The dog becomes impossible to ignore. He patrols the area, lying across tools left too close, nudging children away from the edge, barking sharply when someone grows careless. They start calling him Paharadar. Guardian, you don't name him, not yet. Naming feels like a promise you're not sure you can keep. One evening, as the sun bleeds orange into the flooded fields, you notice something strange. The dog refuses to let anyone dig deeper on one side of the spring. He plants himself there, teeth bared, body rigid. The elders argue again. There's more water below, someone insists. The dog growls. Low, final. You step forward before you realize what you're doing. You place yourself beside him, facing the men with shovels. Not there, you say. They stare at you, at the dog, at the place where earth still hides whatever it's been keeping. No one knows why, but they listen. That night, you dream of water moving underground, flowing around something ancient and fragile. You wake with your heart racing, the echo of stone and silence clinging to your thoughts. Outside, the dog is awake, watching the dark, waiting. By the third week, the mud begins to harden. Not everywhere, just enough to remind you that the earth hasn't given up completely. Cracks form where puddles once sat. Footprints hold their shape a little longer before collapsing back into themselves. Recovery, you learn, doesn't arrive all at once. It comes in small, almost unnoticeable permissions. The spring never stops. It rises at the same steady pace, day and night, unaffected by arguments or prayers or the careful bamboo fence built around it. Women come at dawn with metal pitchers. Men arrive after sunset with tired shoulders and quieter voices. Children learn new rules. Don't run here. Don't shout. Don't touch unless an adult is watching. And always, the dog is there. He sleeps in short stretches, never deeply. At the slightest unfamiliar sound, his head lifts, his ears angle. His body positions itself between the water and whoever approaches. People stop questioning it. You stop questioning it too. Instead, you start noticing patterns. How he circles the spring every morning before anyone else arrives, nose close to the ground, tracing an invisible boundary only he seems to understand. How he avoids one particular patch of earth on the eastern side, stepping wide around it as if the soil itself repels him. How, when the wind shifts just right, he lifts his head and stares toward the old banyan tree at the edge of the village, frozen in a posture that makes the hair along your arms rise. One afternoon, you follow his gaze. Nothing looks different. The tree is half dead, its roots exposed where the flood tore the ground open. Strips of cloth hang from its branches, prayers tied long before the cyclone, now faded and waterlogged. You look back at the dog. He looks back at you. Then he turns away, decision made, and trots toward the spring. You don't know when it happens exactly, the shift inside you. Only that one morning you wake up and realize you are no longer waiting for permission to believe this matters. You start helping organize the water lines. You argue with men twice your size when they try to take more than their share. You speak up in meetings, your voice steadier than you expect, backed by something you didn't know you still had. At night, when exhaustion pulls at your bones, you sit beside the spring and listen. There is a sound beneath the surface, not loud, not constant. A subtle movement like breath passing through stone. It reminds you of another sound, your grandmother's voice again. Older now, clearer. She used to talk about Punni Rasta water paths, underground veins that fed the land long before people learned to control it. She said the earth remembers where water belongs, even when humans forget. You thought it was just a story. The elders decide to dig again. Carefully this time. They choose a spot the dog doesn't object to. Still, he watches every shovel strike, muscles tight, eyes sharp. The earth gives way slowly, revealing layered stone, worked, not natural, too smooth, too deliberate. A murmur spreads through the crowd. Steps, someone says. They uncover the top of them by dusk. Stone stairs descending into darkness, swallowed by soil centuries ago. The air that rises from below is cool and damp, carrying a scent that doesn't belong to the surface world. The dog refuses to go near the opening. He plants himself several feet away, paws braced, body angled sideways as if blocking an unseen approach. His hackles lift. A sound vibrates deep in his chest, not fear, but warning. No one forces the issue. That night, you dream again. You are underwater, but you can breathe. Light filters down through cracks above, illuminating walls carved with symbols you don't recognize, but somehow understand. Hands reach out, not to grab you, but to guide you forward. You wake before dawn, heart pounding, the image of stone steps burned into your mind. Outside, the dog is pacing, not his usual patrol. This is different, restless, purposeful. He moves from the spring to the edge of the village and back again, over and over, like he's trying to connect 2 points that refuse to align. You follow him. He leads you past half-built huts, past cooking fires just beginning to smoke, all the way to the banyan tree. Up close, you see something you missed before, a line of stones half buried near its roots, forming a rough circle. Old, intentionally placed. The dog stops. He looks at the ground, then at you. Understanding doesn't arrive all at once. It creeps in, quiet and unsettling. The spring, the stairs, the tree. This place was never just a village, it was something else first. And the dog, who appeared when the water rose, who knows where not to dig, who guards paths no one remembers, was never just passing through. Behind you, the call to prayer rises again, carried on the morning air. For the first time since the cyclone, you don't feel like it's morning. It sounds like a summons. The steps are older than memory. You can tell without touching them. The stone holds a kind of patience you've only ever seen in mountains and elders who no longer rush their words. Moss clings to the edges, bright and stubborn, fed by moisture that never fully disappeared. Even when the surface world forgot this place existed, people gather at a careful distance. No one descends. No one jokes. The air around the opening feels heavier, cooler, as if it belongs to another hour entirely. The dog stays back. He positions himself between the stairs and the spring, body angled like a living gate. His eyes flick from face to face, cataloging intent. When a young man steps forward too quickly, the dog snaps. Not biting, not lunging, just enough sound to stop motion cold. You don't scold him? You understand now that he isn't afraid of what's below, he's protecting what's above. The elders talk in low voices. One of them kneels and presses his palm to the stone, eyes closed. When he stands again, his face has changed. This was a kund, he says, a sacred water chamber, for droughts, for famine. A pause. For floods too, perhaps, if we had remembered. That word again, remembered. The villagers argue about what to do next. Government officials should be told. Engineers should come. This must be tested, measured, claimed. Voices rise and fall like uneven waves. You watch the dog instead. He has moved closer to you, his flank brushing your calf. The contact is deliberate, grounding. He leans in just enough for you to feel the quiet strength of him. That night, the rain finally comes. Not violent, not punishing, just steady drops tapping against plastic and tin, stitching sound back into the broken dark. You sit awake, listening to water meet water, wondering if the earth can tell the difference between destruction and mercy. The dog lifts his head, his ears prick, his body stiffens. Not in alarm, but recognition. You follow his gaze to the edge of the spring. The water there shivers. Not from rain, from below. A soft gurgle rises, then settles into a deeper flow. The pool doesn't overflow. It evens out, self-regulating, as if guided by hands you cannot see. Your breath slows. This place knows what it's doing. By morning, the decision is made. The stairs will remain sealed for now. The spring will be protected. Bamboo fencing is reinforced. Rotations are established. Children are assigned watchers, not to guard, but to learn. The dog becomes part of the system without anyone officially saying so. If he blocks a path, people reroute. If he growls, digging stops. If he lies down somewhere, tools are moved away. You notice something else too. He is thinner than before. His ribs show more clearly beneath his fur. He eats when offered, but never first. Never much. His focus remains on the spring, the stairs, the invisible lines connecting them. One afternoon, you bring him food yourself. Rice mixed with lentils. Saved from your portion, he sniffs it, looks at you, then nudges the bowl back toward your daughter, who is watching from a few steps away. You feel something twist inside your chest, not pain, something quieter, understanding. The dreams return that night, shorter now, sharper. You see hands placing stones. You hear voices arguing about where to build, where not to build. You wake with the certainty that your house was never randomly placed. It was built on forgetting. At dawn, the dog leads you again. This time not to the banyan tree, but to the edge of the fields where the floodwaters first broke through. He stops where the ground dips unnaturally, a shallow curve no one ever questioned before. He paused once. Water seeps up immediately. Clear, cold, a second spring, smaller, hidden. You laugh before you can stop yourself. The sound surprises you both. The dog's tail thumps once against the mud. The village doesn't just have water, it has a network. The first jeep arrives just after noon. You hear it before you see it? A low mechanical growl cutting through the softer village sounds. Conversation falters. Hands still. Even the birds seem to pause, as if the air itself is holding its breath. The dog lifts his head. Not in alarm. In assessment. Dust trails the vehicle as it stops near the edge of the village, far enough to avoid the mud, but close enough to make its presence felt. Two men step out, clean clothes, clipped voices, notebooks already open as if the decision to measure and mark was made long before they arrived. Someone whispers, "Government!" The word moves through the crowd like a ripple through water. Quiet, inevitable, unsettling. The dog positions himself beside the spring. His body lowers slightly, muscles ready. He doesn't bark. He doesn't need to. The men smile, too easily. They ask questions that sound polite but land heavy. How long has the water been here? Who discovered it? Is there documentation? Ownership papers. You listen from the edge, your daughter's fingers knotted into your sleeve. When they step closer to the bamboo fence, the dog steps forward too. One man laughs, short and dismissive. He reaches out as if to shoo him away. The dog bares his teeth. Not wildly, not angrily, deliberately. The hand retreats. The elders intervene, voices raised just enough to keep the situation from tipping. The men retreat to their jeep, promising to return with engineers, with equipment, with plans that sound like solutions but feel like erasure. When the jeep leaves, the village exhales as one. The dog doesn't relax. That night, he doesn't sleep at your feet. He disappears. You notice when the space beside you stays empty longer than it should. When the night sounds sharpen instead of settling. When your daughter asks, in a small, uncertain voice, "Where Paharadar has gone?" You search, quietly at first, then with rising urgency. You call softly, not wanting to wake the entire village, not wanting to admit how much you rely on the weight of him nearby. No answer. At the spring, the water flows as always, calm. indifferent to your fear. By morning, the village knows. The guardian is gone. People whisper theories. He followed a scent. He was taken. He wandered back to wherever he came from. Each suggestion lands wrong, slipping off you like rain on stone. You feel the absence physically, a pressure behind your ribs, a sense of exposure, like standing without walls. The second jeep arrives at midday. This one carries tools, stakes, measuring tape. Without the dog, the men move more freely. They step closer to the spring, arguing about angles and access points. Someone suggests removing the bamboo fence temporarily. You step forward before the elders can stop you. No, you say. Your voice doesn't shake. That surprises you. The men look at you, really look, as if noticing for the first time that the village is made of people, not obstacles. One of them scoffs. Another sighs, already tired of resistance. You don't understand, he says. This water can serve thousands. So can respect, you reply, the words arriving from somewhere deeper than thought. They mark the ground anyway. Bright paint on old earth. Lines cutting across paths the dog once walked. That night, the dreams turn dark. You see the stairs collapsing, the water choking itself, hands tearing stones apart in the name of progress. You wake with your heart pounding, the taste of iron in your mouth. At dawn, a sound cuts through the village. A bark, not close, not far, familiar. You run. People follow. Toward the fields, toward the shallow dip where the second spring waits. The dog stands there, muddy, limping slightly, a rope trailing from his neck, frayed and broken. He looks thinner, tired, but his eyes are fierce. He barks once, then turns and limps toward the banyan tree. You understand without words. This isn't over. The rope around his neck tells the story before anyone speaks it out loud. Frayed fibers scrape against his fur as he moves, each step stiff, careful. One of his back legs doesn't land quite right. He keeps his head high anyway, jaw set, eyes sharp with a warning that feels older than language. Someone tried to claim him, just like they tried to claim the water. You kneel without thinking. Your hands hover near him, unsure where it's safe to touch. He leans into you first, pressing his forehead against your chest, steadying himself and you. Your fingers slide along the rope. It comes away easily, too easily. Whoever tied it wasn't careful or wasn't prepared for refusal. The dog pulls back, already moving again. He doesn't wait to be checked, doesn't wait for thanks. He limps past the banyan tree and stops at the place he guarded from the beginning, the forbidden edge of the spring. The place no one dug, not yet. He paws the ground once, then twice. His breath comes faster now, each exhale visible in the damp morning air. People hesitate. The elders exchange looks. This is the line they agreed not to cross, the place the dog himself forbade. But now he's asking. You feel it before you understand it, a pressure behind your eyes, a low hum in your bones. Dig, you say. The word lands hard. A shovel strikes earth. The sound rings different here, less hollow, more brittle. Stone appears quickly, then something else, a slab, carved, deliberate. As they clear the edges, the air changes, cooler, denser. The dog steps back, lowering himself to the ground as if his strength has finally reached its limit. You! Drop beside him! His side rises and falls fast beneath your palm. His eyes never leave the opening. The slab shifts. Water surges, not violently, but urgently, pushing past hands and stone, spilling out in a rush that knocks people backward. The spring's surface drops suddenly, draining downward, revealing the true depth beneath. A channel opens, not a source, but a release. The elders shout. Someone slips. Panic flares, sharp and immediate. For one breathless moment, it feels like the cyclone all over again. Then the flow evens out. The water finds its path. Below, the chamber opens fully now, a vast stone reservoir carved to guide excess water away during floods, to store it during droughts. A system, ancient, ingenious. The village isn't standing on a miracle, it's standing on wisdom that waited patiently to be remembered. The dog exhales, long, deep. His body goes slack. Your heart stutters. You press your ear to his chest, counting beats, needing proof that he's still here, still choosing this world. His heart answers you, slow, steady, exhausted. The government jeeps arrive again before sunset, more of them this time, officials, engineers, voices layered with authority and urgency. They see the chamber, the channels, the flow already redirecting floodwater away from the village edge. Plans change mid-sentence. Ownership arguments soften into partnerships. Words like relocation disappear. Words like preservation appear instead. None of it matters to you yet. You sit in the mud beside the dog as night falls, your daughter curled against your other side, her small hand resting on his fur. He doesn't move. Fear settles in your stomach, heavy and cold. You have lost enough. You don't know how to prepare for losing the thing that taught you how to hope again. The moon rises, the spring hums softly, content. The dog's tail twitches. Once, you let out a breath you didn't know you were holding, but you can feel it now. This is the edge. Whatever comes next will change everything, forever. Morning comes quietly. No announcements, no sudden miracles, just light slipping over the broken horizon, touching tarps, half-built walls, the thin ribbon of steam rising where cool air meets warm water. You wake stiff and cold, your body folded around the dog as if you could keep him anchored to this world by proximity alone. Your arm has gone numb beneath his weight. You don't move! You listen first, water flowing where it should, birds testing the day, your daughter breathing against your side. Then, a sound so soft you almost miss it. A slow inhale. Your fingers curl into the dog's fur. Not tight, careful, as if gripping too hard might break the fragile agreement keeping him here. His chest rises again. Falls. The rhythm is uneven, but it's there. He's alive. UK! The relief doesn't crash over you. It seeps in, warm and unsteady, like sunlight after days of rain. Your eyes sting anyway. You blink hard, swallowing the sensation before it spills. People notice. Word travels without shouting. Neighbors drift closer, moving with unusual care, as if loud footsteps might undo what the night barely preserved. Someone brings water. Someone else brings food and leaves it untouched a few feet away. The elders kneel, not to pray, to watch. By midday, the engineers return, but they don't cross the bamboo fence. They study the chamber from a distance, sketching, whispering, recalculating. Their tone has changed. Less conquest, more reverence. One of them approaches you slowly, stopping well before the dog. "He saved this system," the man says. "Not as a claim, as an admission." You look down at the dog's scarred paws, at the way his breathing still catches on every third breath. "He remembered it," you reply. The man nods, as if that explanation makes perfect sense. As the heat rises, the dog stirs. His eyes open, not all at once, but in stages, as if returning from somewhere far and dim. When his gaze finds you, his tail gives the faintest movement, a whisper of motion. You laugh before you can stop yourself. The sound wobbles, breaks, reforms into something dangerously close to joy. Children are kept back, but they watch from a distance, wide-eyed. They've started drawing him in the mud-long ears, straight back, a line of blue water at his feet. Guardian stories spread faster than official plans ever could. In the afternoon, a decision is made. The spring, the chamber, the channels, they will be protected as a heritage site. Managed by the village, supported, not seized. Agreements are signed with hands that still shake from memory of the flood. You don't sign anything. You sit with the dog while the future rearranges itself around you. When the sun begins to sink, he tries to stand. His legs tremble, protest. He collapses back into the mud with a huff of frustration. You press your forehead to his. "Not yet," you murmur. He exhales, warm and damp against your skin, and settles again. That night, the village lights small lamps around the spring. "Not for ceremony, for presence." The water reflects the glow, steady and contained, no longer a threat, no longer a mystery. You dream without images, just a feeling. Hands letting go. When you wake, the dog is sitting up, weak, unsteady, watching the water with the same attention he always has, but something is different now. The urgency is gone. His job is nearly done. The first time the dog walks away from the spring, it feels wrong. Not alarming, not sudden, just unfamiliar, like a sound you've heard every day of your life stopping without warning. You notice the absence before you understand the meaning. He rises slowly, testing each leg, pausing when pain flickers through him. You reach out, ready to steady him, but he shifts his weight with quiet stubbornness and stays upright. His ears swivel once toward the water, then away, toward the banyan tree. Your pulse quickens, not with fear this time, with recognition. This is the direction he always watched, the line he never crossed unless something demanded it. Now something does. You follow. The village watches but doesn't interfere. By now, they understand that when the dog moves with purpose, interruption only delays understanding. Your daughter trails behind you, silent, clutching a strip of blue cloth torn from an old sari. The dog stops at the tree's roots. The earth here is darker, richer, fed by runoff, redirected through the newly opened channels. Water doesn't pool, it sinks. He lowers his head, sniffs, then digs. Not frantically, methodically. Your breath slows as you kneel beside him. The soil gives easily, peeling back to reveal stone. Not steps this time. Something smaller, rounder, a mouth, a capped opening sealed with a slab etched in the same symbols as the chamber below. The dog steps back, sitting heavily, watching you with an intensity that makes your hands tremble. You wipe mud from the stone. The markings catch light, shallow grooves filled with centuries of sediment. One symbol repeats, a circle broken by a single line. Overflow, one of the elders breathes behind you. An escape path. The realization settles gently but firmly. This wasn't just a reservoir. It was a system designed to survive forgetting. The banyan tree didn't grow here by chance. Its roots anchored the overflow shaft, protected it, marked it in living memory even when language failed. When the cyclone came, when the river swelled beyond reason, the buried channels took the pressure, redirected it, bought time. Time enough for people to run, time enough for a dog to guide. You open the cap. A rush of cool air escapes, followed by a deep, steady sound. The underground river moving freely now, no longer trapped, no longer threatening collapse. The dog exhales, long and satisfied. He lowers himself fully to the ground, resting his head on his paws. It's done! The village understands all at once! Conversations overlap, hands gesture wildly, laughter breaks through tears. They don't just have water, they have safety. A future shaped by cooperation with the land instead of resistance against it. You sit back, dizzy with the weight of it. The dog doesn't look at the people, he looks at you. And in that look, you see it clearly for the first time. He didn't come to be worshipped. He didn't come to be owned. He came to finish something. Your daughter steps forward and ties the blue cloth gently around his neck. Not a leash, not a claim, a marker, a thank you. He allows it. As the sun dips low, painting the flooded fields gold, the dog finally closes his eyes. Not in collapse, in rest. For the first time since the cyclone, the earth beneath your village is quiet, balanced, remembered. Life does not explode into joy. It settles. That surprises you. You expected celebration to arrive like the cyclone did. Loud, overwhelming, impossible to ignore. Instead, the days that follow unfold with a careful gentleness, as if the village is afraid of startling its own future. The spring becomes ordinary in the best way. Women line up at dawn, metal pitchers clinking softly. Children are taught how to draw water without splashing. Men repair channels instead of arguing about whose land they cross. The water flows where it is guided, obedient not to force, but to understanding. And the dog sleeps. At first, he doesn't move much. He rests beneath the banyan tree during the day, the blue cloth still tied loosely around his neck, fluttering when the wind remembers him. At night, he chooses different places, sometimes near the spring, sometimes near your shelter, sometimes alone beneath the open sky. He eats when he wants, drinks when he wants. No urgency drives him anymore. People come to thank him. Some bow, some leave food, some touch his head and whisper prayers meant for gods. He accepts none of it fully. He tolerates it, patiently, kindly, as if he understands gratitude is for humans. You rebuild slowly, not your old house, something smaller, lighter. You place it a few steps away from where the spring breathes, careful not to forget again. Your daughter helps, handing you mud bricks with exaggerated seriousness, her laughter returning in pieces you didn't know how to look for before. At night, you sit together and listen to water moving underground, a soft reassurance beneath everything else. One evening, as the sky turns the color of old copper, the dog comes to you, not because he needs something, because he's leaving. You know the moment before it happens, the way he stands still, studying the village with a gaze that feels like farewell, the way his ears tilt, not toward sound, but memory. He looks at the spring, at the banyan tree, at the children running barefoot, shouting without fear. Then he looks at you. Your throat tightens, but you don't speak. You won't insult him by pretending this is something else. He steps closer and presses his head briefly against your knee. The contact is firm, intentional, complete. You rest your hand on his neck, fingers brushing the blue cloth. It's frayed now, lived in, like everything else that survived. Go, you whisper. He turns. He doesn't look back. You watch his shape move through the fields, past the place where floodwater once tore everything open, toward a horizon that no longer feels empty. His silhouette shrinks, then dissolves into light and distance, as if he was always meant to belong to both story and soil. The village doesn't chase him. No one calls his name. They understand too. That night, you dream of water again, but this time, you're standing on dry ground, watching it move freely, knowing it will not take more than it gives. When you wake, the spring hums softly. The earth holds, and you realize something quietly astonishing. You are not waiting for disaster anymore. You are living after it. The village does not mark the day he leaves. There is no ceremony, no prayer spoken out loud, no stone placed where his paws last touched the earth. Life moves forward the way water does, quietly, decisively, without asking permission. And yet, he is everywhere. In the way people walk now, careful not to block the channels, in the way children pause before running too close to the spring, in the way arguments soften when voices rise too quickly, as if everyone remembers how close losing everything once felt. You feel him most in the mornings. You wake before the sun, as you always have, but now there is no panic in the habit, just rhythm. You step outside and the air meets you clean and cool, carrying the faint mineral scent of water that belongs where it flows. The spring reflects the sky, calm and contained. You kneel and touch the surface. It ripples outward, then settles again. No anger, no hunger, just presence. Your daughter joins you, rubbing sleep from her eyes. She doesn't ask where the dog is anymore. Instead, she points to the water, to the channels, to the banyan tree standing steady and green against the sky that no longer threatens. "He showed us," she says simply. You nod. That is the truth of it. Months pass. The fields recover faster than anyone expected. Crops grow where salt water once poisoned the soil, fed by channels designed centuries ago by people who understood patience better than fear. Officials come and go. Papers are signed. Promises are made, and this time, kept. Your house stands finished now. Small, strong, built where the earth feels firm beneath your feet. Sometimes, when the light hits just right at dawn, you see a shape at the edge of the fields. Tall, still, watching. You never chase it because you understand something now that grief once made impossible to see. Some beings come into your life not to stay, but to return you to yourself. The dog did not save the village alone. He reminded it how to listen. As the sun rises fully, clouds breaking apart above you, the water catches the light and throws it back into the world. Your daughter laughs, splashing her hands despite the rules, and you let her? Just this once. You watch the ripples spread. You watch them fade. And you stand there, barefoot on remembered ground, knowing that even after devastation, even after loss that feels unbearable, the earth can still surprise you with abundance. Sometimes all it takes, is a guardian who knows where to dig.